So you want to become designer, software developer, or any kind of backend developer like PHP developer, WordPress developer, or just a software engineer, and you are doing some kind of degree like BCA engineering in computer science or any other degree. So if you want to become any of these, then you have to learn HTML and CSS. If you don't learn HTML and CSS, you will regret of not doing it when you're just getting it started. So my name is Manjunath, and from 5 years I have been working with HTML and CSS and all the other amazing web framework and mobile app, and I have my own web development company called the PC Studio. So over all these years, I have been learning HTML and CSS every point in life. The reason was I didn't study HTML and CSS properly when I was just getting started. I saw web development field. Before that, before getting into web development field only, I started with the learning C++ and C and other programming languages. That time I didn't focus much on learning HTML and CSS. In college there was little bit HTML and CSS, and I learned those things in the college, but there was not much in depth. It was like maybe old syllabus, or I was not paying much attention to learn HTML because programming is more interesting, and I liked doing all kind of logical stuff more rather building something using HTML and CSS. So due to this particular thing, I had to learn HTML and CSS multiple point in my lifetime. So whenever there was some kind of project which required HTML and CSS, I have to look for HTML and CSS videos and I have to learn it again, because I knew the basics of HTML and CSS, but I was not confident enough to create some kind of application or website using HTML and CSS. So when you know something properly, you'll be able to have confidence enough to build any kind of project. But if you don't know something properly, you will be able to learn about it. But if you know something little bit, okay, and that's inside your head, that time you won't be able to build anything because you don't have confidence to build it, neither you feel like learning it because you know something. So most students do this mistake of not learning HTML and CSS and directly jumping into doing their projects maybe in PHP or ASP or Node.js, Python, or any kind of programming language. So problem happens when you are stuck in the middle of the project because you won't be able to know how to go ahead and display some kind of data in the front end. That's a big problem. So I'll give you a solution how you can not do this particular mistake and get to know HTML and CSS. So my first tip would be learn HTML and CSS as if you don't know anything about it. So if you are just beginner, then you can do it easily because you can literally jump into learning HTML and CSS and you will be able to go ahead. But if you are not beginner, then just think inside your head that you don't know anything about HTML and CSS. So you have to start from the scratch and try to find answer how you can learn HTML and CSS. So there are a lot of resources using which you can learn HTML and CSS basics. For example, you can go to some kind of YouTube channel and you can see basic video of HTML and CSS, or you can go to w3schools.com. It's like not that great website, but as a beginner it's a good resource. You can learn a lot of things from there. My tip number 2 would be ask your web developer friend how they got started using HTML CSS and try to learn from them. Don't bother them with asking each and every question, but just talk with them and ask them how did you learn HTML and CSS. Is there any kind of video in there, or did you learn using some kind of book, or did you go to some kind of boot camps or online paid courses and understood how to build something using HTML and CSS. So ask your friend, they'll help you for sure. And tip number 3 is don't make mistake of not learning HTML and CSS and directly jump into web development or Android development or any kind of programming kind, because if you don't know HTML and CSS, then you need to learn that first. So my final tip would be just get started to learn HTML and CSS. Don't be like the person who will listen to my first tip and second tip and try to understand my third tip, and in the end you won't follow any of these 3 tips. So third tip would be take action right now and start learning HTML and CSS. So that's it for this video, guys. I just want to make one basic video why you need to learn HTML and CSS, because lot of people, they directly jump into web development and try to build something using PHP or some kind of other frameworks like Node.js, React, and all the other languages, even before they know what is HTML and CSS or how to write HTML tags or how you can write some kind of CSS and make some kind of manipulation in the website. So before you jump into doing any kind of project in web development, just learn HTML and CSS basics immediately. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.